welcome to another YouTube video. In this video, we'll have a look at the game between Hikaru Nakamura and Hikaru from round 4 from the FIDE Grand Prix in Berlin. Now, before this round, Hikaru was in the lead, leading by half a point over Alexander Kryshuk and Andrei Yasipenko, but he was playing the lowest seed in the group with white pieces, so it could be expected he was gonna go all out and trying to win this game. Anyway, Hikaru opened up with the move 1e4, and Bakro responded with the French, because he is a French. So Hikaru followed up with the move d4, d5 by Bakro, knight c3, knight f6, e5, knight fd7, f4. This was all seen in the game yesterday between Andrei Yasipenko and Bakro. Yasipenko managed to win that game. c5 by Bakro, knight f3, knight c6, bishop e3, a6, a3. They're still following the game. Pawn takes d4, knight takes, bishop c5, queen d2. And in yesterday's game against Yasipenko, Bakro castled, white castled queenside, and a very interesting game arose, which eventually Yasipenko managed to win. But in today's game, Bakro went for something completely different. He went for the move g5. So the move g5 looks very weird, but the idea is to undermine the white pawn center. There's a lot of things white can do. For example, white can trade on c6. But in any case, the position becomes very complicated because his pawn on e5 always becomes very weakened. So instead of all that, Hikaru went for the move knight f3, solidifying the pawn on e5 a bit more. Now let's say black takes on e3 and then takes on f4. This looks good for black because now the pawn on e5 has lost some support. But if black plays a move like queen to c7, white is just going to go queenside castles. And black can take the pawn on e5. Now it is important not to play a move like rook e1 right away, because this runs into the trick knight d3 check and you lose your queen. So what does white do? White plays the move king b1 first, stepping out of this check, and now things are not that easy for black. Rook e1 is going to be next, because once again your knight is pinned to your queen, and let's say you play a move like queen b8 first. Now white has the very nasty knight takes d5, blasting open the e-file, and now rook e1. You're going to win back the knight, and white has a big advantage. So Bakro didn't go for that. Instead of that, he played the move d4. Hikaru took with the bishop, Bakro recaptured and took on f4. So Hikaru took on f4, and now black played the move knight takes e5. Now the trick is, if you take this knight, black can take on d4 and defend this rook on h8 through the x-ray, so to speak. And actually black is much better, because black has the two bishops. So instead of all that, Hikaru played knight to b3, but then did not really seem to be the move. For a long time here, he was considering castles, and he thought that black would go knight g6, queen e4, and he thought f5. Now during the broadcast, we thought that the move for black should be something like queen h4, or a queen g5 check, king b1, and queen f4 to try and get the queens off. But once again, Hikaru thought the move f5 was the problem. And if you have to go queen e3 here for white, he thought that after e5, which would pretty much force a queen trade if this knight moves, black should be completely fine. He was looking at this move knight takes f5, but he didn't really trust it. He thought, okay, queen g5 check, king b1, you take the knight. Black's up a piece. White still has the move queen a4, and after king e7, bishop d3, and white has a lot of compensation, but he felt like, okay, if this does not work out, he's going to be down a piece, and given the tournament situation, he didn't want to take any unnecessary risks. So he didn't quite like this. So instead he played the move knight to b3. And here Bakro played the move bishop a7. Wait, not bishop b7. This knight is under attack. So he first played knight g6, hitting the queen. The queen dropped back to f3. Now the bishop can go to many squares. We thought that bishop e7 would probably be the better move. But he went bishop a7, which was actually a blunder, because now all of a sudden Hikaru had bishop takes a6. You cannot take this bishop on a6, because then you hang your rook on a8. So instead of all that, Bakro just castled, and Hikaru dropped the bishop back to d3. So now with the move bishop d3, he wants to castle on the next move. Once again, he cannot castle kingside because the bishop is covering that square. But Bakro came up with a very clever move here. If black plays the move queen g5 to stop white from castling, white has the move knight e4, hitting the queen. So instead of that, Bakro played queen h4 check. Now, however you block the check, after g3, black goes queen h6 and stop white from castling this way. And it's really annoying for white, because how are you going to get your king out of the center? So instead of that, Hikaru played queen to g3, blocking the check. Bakro played queen h6, and now Hikaru played h4. So with the move h4, he wants to go queen g5. Let's say black goes bishop d7. His idea is queen to g5. And this trade is quite favorable for white, because his pawn on g5 holds the king side, and it can always be nicely protected with a knight coming to e4. And white has quite a nice advantage. So instead of all that, Bacrot played the move f5. Now let's say white plays queen g5 here. Here black can trade and now play bishop to e3. And his pawn on g5 cannot be defended because the e4 square is covered by the pawn. So instead of that, Hikaru played the move knight d2, blocking the queen on this diagonal. So now he's ready to go queenside castles, but Bacrot played the move bishop b8. And where are you going to go with the queen? If you go to f3, you always walk into this annoying move knight e5, and you don't really want to allow that. Same goes for queen h3, there's knight f4, also not ideal. So Hikaru went to f2, and here Bacrot played bishop to a7. There's really not much you can do. If you go to e2, there's always moves like knight f4, which are really annoying. And Hikaru felt like, okay, he's in the lead here, there's no reason to take risks, so he just played queen to g3, bishop b8, queen f2, bishop a8, bishop a7, sorry. And after queen g3, bishop b8, it ended in a draw due to a 3-fold repetition. But since the game between Alexander Grishuk and Andrei Yasipenko has ended in a draw, Hikaru keeps his lead in Pool A. He still has very good chances to make it out of the group and qualify to the semifinals to keep his chances for qualification for the candidates tournament alive. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next one.